Hey everyone, Civil Joe here. Just wanted to give everyone a few updates on my ostomy. I had an ostomy, temporary ostomy done about a couple months ago, and I finally made peace with it. And as an engineer, I figured out a few tips and tricks with a lot of help from a few great other users on YouTube. And I just wanted to kind of share the knowledge. So one of the things that I did, I'm kind of looking at the screen as I'm doing this, so one of the things I did for myself was I made a little kit for my ostomy. This has one of everything I need, so in case I'm in for another procedure and I have to go into an operating room or an emergency room, I can give this to whoever is taking care of me and say, look, if something happens with my ostomy, here's everything you need, because not all hospitals will have everything that you need for your ostomy. So I put a little instruction card, and it just kind of walks you through everything you need to do for my ostomy. Your ostomy is going to be different, so it's not going to look like mine, but kind of walk you through what I have for my ostomy and a few little tricks. So I have a very deep and eccentric convexity to my ostomy. My stoma kind of sits in a second belly button, so I need to use an Econ ring, and this is an Econ ring that I use. It's made by Hollister, and it's as you can see, it's kind of convex there, so it kind of sits in. And the bore on it's 20 millimeter. So when I first got out of the hospital, I was using a 30 millimeter bore, and I had to go down to a 20 millimeter bore to get a good fit. And thankfully, this fits perfectly without any kind of modification. And I use a Convatec bag and wafer, and this is the Convatec Natura. I'm not going to open it up, but this is basically you can see the gauze around here, and you can also see the ring. This is actually, it's a kind of a sticky plastic material that adheres to the skin, and I think these are nice. If you're using cardboard, I don't know if you can switch to something like this, if this will work for you. This might be a lot nicer because it's all already pre-cut to a certain diameter. And if you need to make it bigger, all you have to do is kind of roll this material out, and it rolls out very nicely. It's really nice to work with, and it's completely compatible with the Hollister ring. Unlike the bag, you know, never mix bags and wafers. So this is the bag that I use. This is a Convatec bag with a Velcro closure, and it has a filter vent. So the Velcro closure is nice, as opposed to a regular tailpiece which clips on. This one has a magnetic catch, and you just have to be careful not to remember to roll this up, because you can this can stay, and it will hold about, much to my chagrin, I figured out, forgot to do this once, and it'll hold about half a cup of liquid before it decides to kind of pop. Thankfully I was home on a Sunday and I was able to clean up. So anyway, you just kind of roll this up and you do the Velcro, and that's it, and it's a nice seal. And you can also roll this in, so when you roll this in, you're all cloth covered. So this is really nice if you're you know, especially I'm a little heavier, so I can I sweat a little bit, and this kind of gives you a little bit more of a buffer, and it's just nicer. You know, it's not it's all covered, so it kind of looks like a piece of clothing. It's not like an open bag, and I find that this tends not to ride up in my clothing, so it's kind of nice. One of the things that I do when I'm going to go change my ostomy, I have it worked out, so I do it in the morning, and so I take my Imodium in the morning, and before I eat anything else, I get ready to do my ostomy. So I'll do it usually every other day, and I kind of schedule it with my showers. So one of the things the first thing I do is I lay down a large bath towel on the whole bathroom floor, so in case anything pops out, I can that's easy to just roll up and then bleach that towel, and that's really easy for cleanup. What I like to do is I like to pre-assemble my ostomy, and I like to do this before I take off the old ostomy, because really trying to do this one-handed while you're trying to hold a piece of gauze against your stoma is not fun. So I'll usually assemble the bag to the wafer, and then I'll assemble the Econ ring onto the wafer. And then the next thing I do, I like to use lubricating deodorant. This is just something that goes inside the bag after you're done setting this up. And it's nice because it kind of keeps everything from sticking, you know? So once I have that all pre-assembled, I'll usually leave it in this nice little plastic tray that they give you that comes with the packaging, and I can leave that to the side. Then when I'm ready to hop out of the, when I'm ready to take off my old ostomy, I'll use a couple of these. These are adhesive remover pads. These are really worth it because what I do, I usually use 2 for each change. And the first thing I'll do is I'll take one pad and I'll wet this entire adhesive gauze area. And it may sound a little funny, but I've found that this adhesive gauze tends to stick to your skin and pull hair a lot worse than the actual seal. For some reason, it's just stickier and gummier. So I like to wet this all down and give it a second to soak in, and that'll soak right through. And then you can carefully peel this off. And I like to peel it off so I just have the actual plastic seal against my skin. Then I use the second one as I'm wiping off the, as I wipe that down as I take off the actual plastic. And I found that that works really well for me. And usually I can get it off with minimal discomfort. So that's really how I take the ostomy off. So when I go to wash up, I usually use, Castile soap, something very mild. And I really give it a good soak and try to take all that old gum off. I've found that if you don't really clean up your skin between changes, it can get really, really gross really fast. And I have pretty sensitive skin, so it's been a really good thing for me to do that. So I use, so in addition to the Econ ring and the barrier, I also use stoma paste. Now stoma paste is great stuff. It's kind of like caulking, and I'll usually put on my Econ ring, I'll usually put a bead just on this first break right here, not quite in, because this is the bead's gonna spread out, and you don't want that to kind of ride in. You don't want that to block your stoma. I don't know what happens if it actually gets into your large intestine. I imagine you're just gonna pass it like gum, but I really don't want to experiment with that. And I usually put a second bead outside of that, and I've found that seal will work for at least a good 4 days, and it's a good solid seal that I don't really have to worry about. Even though I'm doing it every 2 days, you know, it's better to have a great seal and not worry about it than to have kind of an iffy seal that might pop in 3 days, you know, just in case you can't do a change. Because sometimes if you just get busy or your schedule gets messed up, you know, you need to be able to look for that. So after I hop out of the shower, I'll use some gauze, and if you have a means to get gauze for yourself, you really want to get it. So I'm kind of going to jump into my ostomy kit. If you know me, you've seen me carry this blue bag around with me everywhere. This is my ostomy kit. So this is the kit that I bring around with me when I'm out traveling. And one of the things that I use, that I started using right away, this is, you ever took chemistry, you probably remember this. This is a chem wash bottle, and this is loaded with some water and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Old nurse that I'm friendly with told me about how back in the day, before the bags were really considered to be disposable, they used to wash the bags with a vinegar solution and hang them up to dry. And she said it's great because, you know, the vinegar will kill on contact, and it's also I just happen to have apple cider vinegar in an old container. Probably never going to use it on a salad or anything, so I started using that. It's got a great scent to it, I think. At least it smells better than most other things that could be in your bag. And I know that's kind of disinfectant, so you always get a little bit on your fingers when you're trying to pop the tailpiece. And so when you're using that wash, you can also kind of rinse your fingers off, especially if you're in a public restroom and you need to kind of clean up before you go out to the sink to wash your hands. So I found that that's kind of nice. So this is a great thing. You can get them on Amazon for $4. I got 3 or 4 of them, one for each bathroom and and one to travel with, so I don't have to worry about where one is in the house. Change of underwear in a Ziploc bag. And I just use all quart size in case I have to go on an airplane for some reason. I could kind of talk my way through this, but this is great, especially if you're in a public restroom, something happens, you're changing a leak. You can change this up, and then you can put the old underwear right back in, either take it back for laundry or just throw it in the bin. If you're out at a restaurant, it's kind of nice for everyone else in the restaurant to not have to smell your ostomy underwear. This is something else that I put in my kit. This is a wall hook. This is the 3M makes these. They're removable glue. They have a little tab, and I thought of this after a really weird dream that I had. But if you look at a lot of restrooms, they don't have hooks. Some do, some don't. But you really need a hook, especially in the winter. Hanging your coat, you need to manage everything you have, and also to hang your ostomy kit. You put this up, and this is a nice kind of little bag to work from with everything. Also, I carry these shout wipes. These are great for just cleaning up, little spills or something. And these will also, if you have looser material, this will get that right out. And I also carry gauze somewhere in here. Somewhere in here I have some gauze. Now gauze is great. Gauze won't leave a residue like towels will. And I think that it's really, if you want to treat your stoma nice, use gauze. And those are my few of my tips and tricks that I do. Last but not least, I really want to give great props to 3M for making Cavalon. This is a skin barrier, and what this does is before you go to put on your ostomy, you can just take this and you slather this all over where you're going to adhere your ostomy. Right where the seal is, you can put it on. You can actually put it on your stoma itself, and it doesn't sting. And all it does is just makes a little barrier, and it helps to protect your skin from whatever adhesive is there. And one last trick about stoma paste. If if you're like me, you might have a little bit of a raw patch right next to your stoma because your seal isn't quite right, and it took me a while to get my seal right. Despite what the instructions say, put that stoma paste right on that bare patch. I've been doing this, and it's actually helped my my raw patch kind of heal up. It'll sting for a second because it's an alcohol-based product, but once it stops stinging, it's one of the best barriers to protect your skin from additional material touching that raw patch, and it'll help that scab right over. And once that scab forms, the stoma paste again will dig into the scab a little bit and keep a nice seal in that irregular area. And that was another trick I learned from a visiting nurse. So I'm running into a long time here, so that's my spiel. If you have any questions, I'll have contact information in the on the description of this video. All right, thank you very much. Bye.